And we're
Hello,
back.
everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
It has been a while.
It has been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. Was not the plan, but
That was not the
here
plan.
we are.
What are you drinking? I've got the usual.
Alani New.
Ooh.
I just had a poppy earlier, actually.
I haven't had that flavor. That's a new flavor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the new Orange Kiss. It tastes like orange soda.
Oh, love.
So good.
I need that in my life. Okay. Anyways, let's get going. Oh, one thing we wanted to say really quickly. These are our handles here. So they work for our Instagram and our TikTok. So be sure to follow us there, especially if TikTok goes away.
And if you're listening, our handles are at Marla _Branyan and at Ashley's Essence. If you can't see it.
If you can't see it, it's also in our description of this video as well. So if you are listening, you can go to the description and see those things there. Our email will also be there if you want to email us questions or whatever. That is what is that email?
Your AM wake up call at gmail.com.
Yeah, your AM wake up call at gmail.com. So you can always do that. And yeah, Ashley, do you want to talk about why it's been a while?
So we did have an episode 3 that was posted, as some of you may know, and we actually promoted it and posted clips. And then I think we both kind of had a moment where we were like, this isn't good. This is not good, because we were talking about a situation on TikTok that I'm sure everybody can kind of figure out what situation it is, but I'm not going to name names. Where it's like a bitter baby mama on TikTok and all this drama that was going on. And we were using names. And after the fact, it just felt really yucky.
Yeah.
And it didn't make, I was like, as much as this girl is, doing some toxic things, I don't want her to see this.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
So when some gossip TikTok channels were reposting the video, because the video got quite a bit of attention. I started to feel really bad. So I kind of messaged Marla and I was like, do you want to just delete it?
And I was like, yep, I've actually been feeling the same way. I hadn't really been promoting it because I was kind of yikes, I'm not sure how I feel about this. So luckily, the great thing about Ashley and I is we tend to be on the same page about things a lot. So
we really do.
It worked out. And I was like, I'm glad you said. I was too shy to say anything, but if I known what you knew, I didn't know that gossip column, I didn't know all of that stuff was happening. But had I known, I probably would have been the same way. We might need to delete this. So so we ended up taking that one down. It was also a longer one. There were some good things, bookends of the video, but we kind of had to throw the baby out with the bathwater with that one and just be like, delete. And that's okay.
And that's okay. And the thing is we want this podcast to be real and vulnerable, and it's not going to be pretty and perfect. And, if there are times where we don't feel good about something we're posting, we're going to delete it. We're not just going to keep it up because it's getting traction.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It's a learning experience for us too. So we, and while we have the power and control to be able to delete it, if it clears our consciences, you got to do it. So
absolutely.
Definitely. So some of you are going to be like, wait a minute. It didn't get it got a little bit of views and stuff, but
I think it had 60,000 views on the clip that I posted.
Yeah.
It was getting a little bit of traction.
Yeah. So, but anyways, we let her go. But we are still going to kind of talk about the topic that we talked about, which is just the toxicity of social media and TikTok specifically. And it is going to give me an opportunity to share a little bit of my story and my experience with TikTok and some things that Ashley wants to share with TikTok Shop, things that she and other creators have been dealing with on that side of things, which is pretty crazy. And I don't know. Do you want to just talk about that really quick and then I can go into my thing or
Yeah, I can.
okay.
So it's not unusual, and Marla can attest to this because she was my manager at one point in time. It's not unusual for you to get an email in your inbox as an influencer that says, "Hey, I will give you this much to make a video."
Mhm.
So when I got an offer in my inbox, that was like, "Hey, I'll pay you this much money to make a video," um, I was like, "Okay," because the amount of money wasn't, it wasn't too little, and it wasn't exactly what I would normally charge.
Yeah.
It was kind of in the middle, and I was like, I was like weighing my options. I'm like, I could come back and counter them, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, we'll send over a contract. Well, they send over a contract, and it basically says that by the time that I get the product, it was for a facial cleansing brush. By the time I get the product, I have to make a video within 7 days. And then it says that they will pay me after I make the video. But in the contract, it didn't state how long they had to pay me.
Mm,
So I said, can we go ahead and fix the contract so that it says I will be paid within 7 days for
yeah.
making the video? Since I have to make the video within 7 days, you have to pay me within 7 days. Seems
Yeah.
pretty fair.
Yeah. That's a good negotiation.
So they send over the contract, and have it all fixed. I go ahead and sign it. I send it over. They send me the product. I make the video. Everything's good. They tell me my video is great to go ahead and post it. All of that. I send them the ad code, and they say, you'll be paid within 24 hours. If you're not paid within 24 hours, please let us know.
Mm,
24 hours comes around, no payment. And I'm like, okay, well, they have 7 days. Oh, and also in the contract, they had stated that if it was not paid within 7 days, that it would be double the amount. I don't know if I told you that.
yeah, you did tell me that. I forgot to mention. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so they're like legit.
Mm.
Um, well, 7 days came and went, nothing. So then I start seeing their ads popping up with other creators who have, around the same following as I do, maybe like I would say anywhere from like 2 to 600,000.
Mhm.
All of these accounts are posting this brush, and I see in their comments somebody is like, "It's a scam. They're not going to pay you."
Whoa.
And I'm sitting there like, "Oh my gosh, are they literally like just scamming people?"
Mm.
And
Was this
I
after the 7 days or before the 7 days was up?
it was like right before the 7 days was up that
Okay.
I saw that
So you're
comment.
probably already like,
Yeah.
where's my money? And then you see that and you're like, oh my gosh.
So then I'm like, I've talked to two of the girls. Like we've actually messaged back and forth.
Okay.
Um, and none of us know like what to do to get our money, because I mean
Mm,
the company's overseas, so what are we
right.
gonna do?
Yeah.
And I'm actually gonna make a video on it because they 100% need to be called out.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I came to realize, which is crazy, is that if you turn on an ad, if you turn a video on as an ad, give
Mhm.
them an ad code,
Right.
you cannot delete that video until the length of that ad has run.
That's so crazy.
So if you put a video as like, I'm going to run this ad for a year, you can't delete that video for a year.
What length of code did you give them?
60 days.
Oh.
So they have 60 days with my ad, which I have not sold any of it yet. I mean, it would be nice if I could at least make some profit off of it. If
Right.
I could get some, I mean, the product is good. I will give them that. The product is good. I like the product.
Yeah.
Um, but they're not going to get away with this. I am going to make a video. I'm going to tag the other creators I've talked to.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
blow that shit out of the
and
water.
I'm gonna do whatever I can. I also work with a talent agency, so I'm gonna get in touch with them and see, because they're in touch with TikTok
Mm,
directly,
mm.
and see if there's anything that they can do, because there has got to be a way to protect creators from this kind of crap.
Oh, yeah, that's insane. I'm so, like I'm baffled that it happened. You know what I mean? Like, when you told me this, I was just like, "You can't be serious."
And they make you think that they're legit with a contract. It's like, and one of the girls that I commented under, I'm like telling her that this is happening, and she goes, "Well, they have to pay me. We have a contract." I'm like, "Honey, how you gonna make them? Like, what you gonna do?"
Right, yeah. And I was telling you earlier, like, typically in contracts, when you have the other company kind of as, like, the main contract holder, in the legal aspect of it, if there was anything in there about it, it will be like, "You have to come to our location." It's like, nobody's flying to Beijing
No.
to settle over, you know, this much money. It's not worth it,
Yeah, no.
and they know that. I will say, like, when you I don't think it would have sent up a red flag for me initially, and it didn't for you either, but after you told me that they said they would double it after 7 days, I was like, "Mm."
I thought that that just meant that they were like really,
Curious.
they wanted to let you know that they were like serious, that they were gonna pay
Right.
you,
Yeah. And I would have thought that too. But it's like hindsight, it's like they did that on purpose
I'll tell you
because
what though, I will never do another video again where I turn on the ad unless they're paying me.
oh,
Mm-mm. Because you're essentially getting that video for 30 days, at least
yeah.
30 days.
Yeah.
Most of them want 60 days.
Mm,
Some of them have asked for 365 days.
that's so crazy. What you can do is just have a scale. Here's my fee if you want it for 30, 60,
Yes,
and 365. Boom.
that's what
And
I'm going to start
also,
doing.
I would say do not give them the code until you have the money.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You know what I mean? Because then it's like because like you found out, now you can't take the video down. Like you literally your hands are completely tied and that video is just
And another thing to watch out for anybody who's watching this that is a content creator, do not, I repeat, do not give them your phone number ever.
yeah.
Even for shipping purposes, because they will harass you.
Mm.
I just got text messages again at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock this morning from a company that has been harassing me through email, wanting me to make another video. The thing is these companies can see how much money you're making. And if they can see that you're making money, they're going to harass you. I get emails from the same companies 3, 4, 5 times a day.
Oh my gosh.
And now they're starting to text.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my
So I've
gosh.
started giving a fake number for shipping purpose. Like, uh, who cares? If
Oh,
it gets
nobody's
if it's
ever gonna call. Yeah, that's complete BS. That makes me want to check mine and make sure I don't. Usually, I put a fake. I always put my full number and then I change the last digit.
I change a digit too. I change a digit every time.
So those poor people that are getting the text. Sorry, guys.
And you block them, and then they use another number because they use like auto generated numbers
Mm,
because they're overseas. So they use
right.
like Google phone numbers.
Yeah. I never communicate via WhatsApp when they're like, "Here's our WhatsApp." It's like,
I say
no
I
way.
don't have a WhatsApp. I don't have a WhatsApp.
Yeah,
So
don't want to have one, don't need to have one.
no, have
No,
no need.
no, thank you. Email's perfectly fine. Email is perfectly fine. Yeah, so take heed. That story is just you just wouldn't think it would happen through TikTok Shop. Like you just wouldn't I
Well,
wouldn't
TikTok
have.
Shop is so new. I think a lot of the scammers are like testing the waters to see what they
Mhm.
can get away with.
Yeah. Yep. And they want to give you a high, like a decent enough number so you don't necessarily go back, you know?
Well, I think what's happening is that creators are stopping, like, I think a lot of us started out accepting product for promo
Yeah,
when it first started, but now that we're like generating income and you can see that we're generating income,
yeah,
it's like, but you're making this much and I'm only making this much.
yeah,
And it's from one of my videos.
right.
So, like, you're essentially getting free marketing.
Yeah,
The price of the stuff that they send you is nothing compared to what they're making.
yeah, yeah.
So I think
They're
a lot of creators are realizing that and being like, nope, nope, I'm going to charge you.
yeah.
And that's why now the scammers are coming out because
Mhm.
they want the free marketing.
Yeah, yep. So crazy. I had told you this, but I had gotten, I'll let everybody else know, I had been reached out to by a company and I was like, yeah, I want the product. I'll work with you. I'm still small enough that I'm like taking product, or whatever. And that's how TikTok shop works, obviously. And so they sent me the contract over and they didn't want full rights, but this is where they get you. Like they wanted mutual, like split rights. So we each have the right to use the video how we want. And I was like, no,
Mhm.
you don't get any rights to this video. I'm making it. You're not paying for it. And I responded, never heard back. I think I maybe reached out one more time, like, hey, I haven't heard from you. Oh, I know I did because I maxed out with how many samples I could get from TikTok Shop.
Yeah,
And theirs was one of them. And I'm like, look, if you don't want to do this, I need you to remove my sample request so I can work with other companies if you're not going to do it. Never heard back with them. And I got the product in the mail
yeah.
and I never agreed to the thing. I did make a video. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm kind of debating on posting it. If I do post it and they reach out and ask for a code, I'm just going to be like, no.
Tell them they can pay for it.
Yeah, if you want the code, you can pay for the code, but no.
And you said, say, I'm not, I'm too small to be asking for money. You're not.
Yeah, you're right. I'm
You
probably
should
not.
be asking for money. Every
Yeah.
request that I get, I send, a generic response that says, this is my rate.
Yeah.
And that's it. And a lot of times they'll come back and they'll be like, oh, well, we only have this in our budget. Can you do it for $30?
Mm,
$50? And I'm like, at this point it's just laughable, like,
yeah.
and
I
they'll send you a message and be like, we've sold 8 million of this product, and it's like, then you can afford to pay me.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I should do that. And I did do that with one company. Like I had made a video of this cordless car vacuum. Dude, I'm obsessed with that thing. I use it on a rate. I've been wanting something like that for like 2 years. And they had messaged me asking me if I would do another video. And I was like, I want another one of those products. Like I want another that exact same thing.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, would you do it for this other vacuum, which is still a really good vacuum? And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I would do it for that. But I asked them first before I asked them for the another of the cordless vacuum. I asked them if they would pay me. And girl, it was like $25. I mean, I literally
Yeah,
was not asking for much. And they were like, no, what about one of these things? Yeah. I'm like, $25? Like, get out of here. So
these
I was like,
companies,
whatever,
man,
I'll take
they've gotten way too comfortable with free advertisement. I'm sorry.
yeah, they have. And you know what? I made the video because they wanted it done between the 27th and the 30th. I made the video, posted it on the 30th, and I have not heard from them.
But you know what's funny is, like, well, this is in my contract that I have stated, is like, well, in the email that I send, it
Right.
says, I'm going to charge this price, or if you make it so that at least 100,000 people, if you promote it to at least 100,000 people, which honestly is not that much money if you've been
Right.
on the promote side. It's
Mm,
not that much,
mm,
because I've checked.
yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you make it so it's seen by 100,000 people, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't even want to do that. And it's like, that's helping you and that's helping me.
Right.
So you're getting a deal there.
Do you know how much it costs to promote it to 100,000?
Um,
Because I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I know it's not.
It can't be that much.
No,
I
it's
wouldn't
not.
think. But yeah, that's crazy. And the funny thing is, and you and I talked about this recently, and then we'll move on to a different topic, but I've made videos I've made 4 or 5 videos for 4 or 5 different products, and they have never promoted any of my videos. I've given them the code for $0, and they never promoted none of them have gotten over.
A lot of times, I think what happens with companies is if there are no sales of a product, they will not promote it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
And I've also found that, like, if I have a product that starts selling really well because they've promoted it to like a small audience,
Mhm.
they'll keep upping it.
Oh, okay.
Because I've sold 50 jumpsuits in the past 7 days.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I made
And they
my
were
first
like,
sale today.
and they were like, so they had told me like if there's any other products you want. So I sent them some more items that I liked.
Mhm.
And as soon as that video started like getting sales and getting traction, because they hadn't responded to me, then they responded to me and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we shipped your other items."
You're darn right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, these companies, I tell you what.
And then I had Halara steal my video.
So crazy.
I thought
And
I could
that's
trust
ridiculous.
them. I
They
mean, I
can
thought I
afford
could
to
trust
pay
them.
that.
I sent them the rough draft, without a watermark, without anything, because I was like, this is a big company. Like, they're not going to steal my stuff. They did.
So crazy. And I'm sorry, but they're almost a household name.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they couldn't have paid you for that. That's just insane. Absolutely insane.
It's
But
crazy.
anyways, the toxicity of TikTok. TikToxic is what I used to call it when I first got on. You remember that?
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so my journey with TikTok, I'll bring everybody up to speed. I think I may have mentioned it on another video, but my husband had been on TikTok I mean, he's in tech. So he was probably on as soon as it switched over from Musically to TikTok.
Was he really?
Probably just scrolling, not posting.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like posting. I was like,
No. But I've been actively really posting like for probably a year now, and before that I was on a year before. So I've been on for like 2 years and he was on 2 years before that. So, 4 years ago or so is roughly around that time. But anyways, he had been trying to get me to get on for like a couple years. And I was like, "No, no, I'm not doing it." Because I knew what was going to happen. And cuz things happen like that with TikTok for me or with Instagram for me, but I got on and I like dabbled for a while and like I didn't really do a whole lot with it. And then soon after that, I think actually before I even got on, I was managing you,
mm-hmm.
which is funny that I wasn't even on TikTok and was like managing somebody.
Yeah.
So soon after that, I got on and you and I were talking, and I was like, I think I'm gonna like try, like, I'm gonna actually see if I can get a following or whatever. And then I would say it just kind of turned into an addiction, which is what it's meant to become for people. Like it's meant to become this thing that you can't get off of, you don't want to get off of. Um, you're just like waiting for the next, video to go
The
viral,
next dopamine hit.
the next dopamine hit, the comments, communicating with people, all of these things. And as a stay-at-home mom, and you can relate to this, Ashley, you don't have a lot of socialization. You're
Yeah.
home. So when you open this app and you have people commenting on your videos, sharing your videos, you have videos that are going viral, you have people asking you questions, which is giving you the opportunity to make follow up videos. Like, it is exactly what you've been waiting for. Like, this is what you've been wanting as a stay at home mom, is some sort of socialization, communication with other people. And I'm not like a hermit by any means, and you're not either. We've got play dates, we have people we see. Like,
Yeah.
we're not totally stuck in our homes not doing anything. But it was hard to get off. It was hard to put it down. Like, if my kids walked into the room, I wouldn't say I was ever too bad. Like, even as I'm talking about it, I need people to understand that, like, I'm my harshest critic. So compared to, I'm not saying I was on there like 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day. Like, I have children in my home that I'm raising, providing
Yeah.
meals for. The house was still getting clean. It's not like I went from living in this pristine, house where everything's done, and then we're living in a pig pen because I can't get off my phone. Like, it wasn't like that at all. Um, but
But
it
to
was,
some people, it does get to that point.
but yes, I think there are people that it does get to that point. Um, and I used to kind of always tell myself, well, at least I'm creating. Like, I'm not just sitting here scrolling, commenting with for no reason, like, we need people who scroll and who are on there and who are seeing things. So this isn't like a
Mhm.
bash to anybody, but I do think that, like, there has to be a point where we give ourselves time limits, or we have time, like, we have to figure this out for ourselves as kind of our own individual journey. Like, when we get to a point where enough is enough, we need to establish some boundaries and things like that. So I kind of got to that point where I was like, okay, I need to take a day off a week. And that was when we started practicing Sabbath, which was probably about 8 months ago that I started taking Sundays completely off TikTok. And I really liked it. And for a period of time after that, I took a month off TikTok. I think it was October of last year. I took like a whole month off. And I kid you not, it took a solid week for headaches to go away. I had headaches on and off. I don't even know if I told you this, but I had headaches on and off for a week. I was still thinking in terms of TikTok and creating TikToks and thinking about TikToks. And if you are a creator, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
where it's like you're just thinking, oh, that would make a good video, or this, or oh, that. But I never wrote anything down because I was like, I can think the thought, but I'm not writing it down, like, because that would probably just spiral me to be keeping track. Like, I do have a note with TikTok ideas, and if I'm feeling kind of like not creative, I'll kind of scroll through that and see, like, okay, what can I do? But during that time, that month off, I didn't write anything down because I was like, I need like a clean break. Um, and then I came back and I was still doing Sundays off, which honestly, it's to the point now that it's so routine for me that I look forward to that day because it's just a day that I'm just not on, and I love it. And then it's kind of fun to get back on whenever I do on that Monday morning or afternoon, because everything has compiled over that whole time that
Mhm.
I was off. And if you're a creator, or you understand this, it's like sometimes you'll be checking your phone so frequently that it feels like you didn't get very many follows that day, or it feels like you didn't get very many likes that day, and it's because you're checking it every 30 minutes. But if you go a whole day, it's like, oh, I got 10 followers yesterday, or do you know what I'm saying, or do I just sound crazy?
No, you don't sound crazy.
Okay, so anyways, it's kind of nice to have like that refresh. And then I tried to switch to, like, I'm going to take Tuesdays and Thursdays off, and that was hard to do. So it was like I was just feeling very defeated, I guess is a good way to put it. Like, I was still meeting my Sundays every day, but when Tuesdays and Thursdays were a lot looser, and I just started having these feelings of like failure, that I can't stay off. Um and even Tim would be like, I think you're kind of addicted. And I would be like, yeah, I probably am, but I'm still I have this idea in my head of how much time I wanna spend on my phone, and I still wasn't going over that very much, and I'm still not. Um, but I would say really just, like, in this last week or so, and Ashley can attest to it, I was, like, feeling that I needed to potentially take some more time off, and I'm still kind of, like, working through whether I'll do that or not because with TikTok potentially being gone, it's like, how much more time do I really wanna spend doing this if it's gonna go away? Like, maybe I need to wait and see before I invest, like, all this time into it. Um,
I think it's so funny the whole with TikTok potentially being gone because it was literally this time last year.
yeah, that's true.
This exact time last year, we were dealing with, oh, is TikTok gonna go? It's not gonna fucking go away. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not. Nobody is. I'm sorry, but it's like that whole. Somebody was talking about like A Bug's Life when like the ants realize that they overpower the grasshoppers.
Oh, yeah.
If you take that many jobs and opportunities away from Americans,
Yeah.
there's going to be a revolution.
Yeah.
People are going to revolt. Like it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think they want that on their hands.
I don't think so either, and when you look at I'm not saying that they're making things up, but I think that they are purposely, and when I say they, I mean the government. I think that they are purposely making mountains out of molehills and acting like they're not listening into our conversations and sharing our information. And look at what happened with like Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and all of that. It's like Americans are doing this to Americans.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
you
For
know, so
sure.
it's ridiculous. And so when I think about TikTok and what it provides, I think about this woman recently and I saw her video and the algorithm was algorithming and I saw another one of her videos later and basically her son had all this regression, like cognitive regression, and I mean she was freaking out trying to figure out what was going on. She felt like she wasn't being heard at the doctor's office. Well, then she was making a video of her making his Gerber rice cereal in the morning. And she was making the video, or she was doing that while she was making the video. And somebody commented and said,
Yeah, I
did
saw
you
that.
know that Gerber products have had heavy metals in them? And next thing you know, she takes him off of it immediately and he gains all of that stuff that he regressed back. And she was like, I can't believe, like, if I would have just taken him to the peds doctor and asked for a heavy metal test, we probably would have found out what was going on. And she was like, I so regret not having him tested before I took him off and after to see what the difference was. Because basically what she's saying is, I don't have any proof anymore. And she's like, I'm not putting him back on it to make a point, but the video is obviously going viral. And that's the kind of stuff we need to see. Like, these are real, true reasons why we need TikTok because the government is like acting like they don't scam us and they're not a part of all these organizations that are poisoning our foods or poisoning our chickens so they don't lay eggs. And
Let's just be honest. Everything is meant to kill us.
yes.
Like
And when people are like get in on their little conspiracy soapbox saying like oh it's people are being conspiracy theorists, it's like, but it's all happening. Like everything everyone was saying that everyone was all upset about and saying, oh, it's a conspiracy. Where's our apology?
mhm.
Where's our I'm sorry you were right?
There's a there's a cure for every disease. Every single disease has a cure, but the government doesn't want to give it to us because
I
then
believe
big
it.
pharma doesn't make any money.
Right.
Like literally there are so many different like berries and spices and all of this stuff that cures
Mhm.
everything.
Yep. Yep.
It's
And if
like
you're
I probably honestly on I say this with a grain of salt, but I don't see myself going back to a doctor.
mm,
If something is wrong with me, I'm going to figure it out holistically.
yeah. Yeah.
Like I was on Zoloft
Mhm.
for postpartum rage.
Mhm.
And I started gaining weight rapidly, and all of a sudden I started getting this sensation in my leg that was like the weirdest sensation, like icy hot, almost like going
Oh.
numb, and like feeling hot, feeling cold. I literally went to the doctor and they like checked the pulse in my foot to make sure I had a pulse in my foot. And I did. And they were just like, oh, we'll run some blood tests. They ran blood tests, couldn't tell me what was wrong. I looked it up, and one of the symptoms of the Zoloft is like a numbness in your extremities. I got off the medication, and I'm just now starting to like feel back to normal.
Oh my gosh, Ashley. So crazy. So
Yeah.
crazy. We could go on this, but the whole point is that we need TikTok. We need to know
I
what's
have
going
learned
on.
more on TikTok than I have ever learned in school.
Oh, girl, for sure. For sure. And I honestly like, yeah. I mean, we need it. And it has never, and I've honestly been wanting to make a TikTok about it because it should be so obvious to people why the government wants to shut it down in the United States. It should be so obvious. Like if you've ever seen a video that like of similar to one we're talking about, that's exactly why. They want us to know as little information as possible. They don't want us seeing that people in Italy are eating bread and, carbs all the time. And for some strange reason, they're
They don't
not,
gain weight. They're
they
losing
don't
weight
gain weight. They lose weight. There's people who've gone over there and they're like eating, living their best life and not gaining anything. And it's
and
like,
not having stomach issues.
right. So, anyways, just in case it does, go ahead and follow these little handles here, Marla underscore Brandon and Ashley's Essence. But no, seriously. So I back on the addiction issue recently, like within the last few days, and I told Ashley this. I have just been praying and I have been asking God to just help me because as a Christian, if I'm a Christian, which I am, claim to be, I believe that through all things or with God, all things are possible. Then it is possible for me to be on social media, to be on TikTok, to be on Instagram, and not deal with this addiction mindset. I should be able to pop on, check something, pop off, take a few hours away. I should be able to have a week off if I want. Like, basically, I've been praying, like, God, please help me not to be addicted. Like, help me to not care. Like, help me to just post a video and not like worry. And it's something that I'm like praying for before I go to bed and praying for in the morning. And it's something that I'm just like, if I start to feel I'm just like praying. And it has like in the last like 72 hours, it has honestly helped so much. Um, and Ashley can attest to this. Like when I was in Florida a couple weeks ago for vacation, I got an email from ABC News on Hulu and they wanted to use one of my videos. And I ended up like through Ashley's coaching and Tim's coaching, my husband, we were like, yeah, like let's not let them use our video because we weren't convinced that I wasn't going to be shined in a not very good light.
Well,
And then
she was
beating around the bush.
beating around the bush. Like I
Yeah.
kept saying, well, if she can tell you like for sure
Right.
it's in a positive light, it's not in a negative light, then
Yeah.
that's a thing. But she just kept beating around the bush with it and like, well, we're going to show both sides of it, and
Right.
that
We're ABC News. We believe in honest reporting. We're going to show. It
yeah.
was like, remember who owns these companies.
Mhm.
Just remember that. And I was like, you right, you right. So I didn't do that partnership. And then Ashley knows yesterday, I think it was, Scary Mommy on Instagram. They've got like 2 million some followers. They do a lot of blog posts and stuff like that, but they reached out to me and wanted to do a little blog article on my video about sending your kids to daycare and preschool in stained clothes, especially if they got stained while they were there. and they were like, we want to use it. Like, they wanted some quotes for me, but they ended up just like pulling quotes from the actual video and using those in the article, which is fine. I don't really care. Um, and it got, I mean, I haven't gone to look. I did read a few of the comments and I was like, okay, note to self, don't read the comments. So I was like,
Yeah.
not reading those. But I had one person message me and was like, I saw your article, I saw the article. I had to do a double take. And so it's like, I mean,
Oh, you
Ashley was,
didn't send it to me. I didn't know it was posted.
oh yeah, I'll send it. I'll send it to you on Instagram. But yeah, and Ashley was like, honestly, I think it's a sign that you like need to stay on. And honestly, I agree. And I think that there are times and situations in my life where I just don't lean on God enough. And I feel like this is one of those situations where I just need to lean on Him and press into Him. And it's not like I'm posting anything that I feel like goes against my faith or my religion. Like, I don't feel like I'm having some sort of conviction that I shouldn't be on there, or that I'm posting things that I shouldn't post, or things that like misrepresent who I am.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nice to like have them just reach out. And I plan on talking about the ABC on Hulu thing on TikTok. I need to make a video on that. And I want to make a video about the scary mommy thing too, because it's just kind of neat. I mean, I don't consider myself a huge creator yet. I'm getting reached out to with because of some of my viral videos. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean,
It
it's
makes you
definitely an accomplishment.
kind of makes you feel good when you have situations like that happen. So,
But I think also that, and this is, you know me well enough to know that I wasn't trying to be like, oh, don't do it because I
oh
wanted to like
yeah,
steal your shine. It was because, it's exciting to get, these big companies to reach out to you to want to do things, but at the same time you have to make sure that they're not going to shine the light on you negatively, because they're
right,
like, you'll obviously get exposure to all our viewers. Okay, well, what's that going to do for me? Because I've never been on like watching the news and been like, I'm going to follow that person that's talking
right,
about fake handbags. Like,
right. And the
what
funny
kind of
thing,
exposure was that going to give you?
right. And I think it's different when it's in app exposure, like the way Scary Mommy did it. They tagged me, they
Yeah,
took
that's different.
screenshots of it. I'm sure I didn't go read the article yet because I've just been crazy. I've literally been so busy today. It's been insane. So I haven't even gone to read the article, but I'm sure that they probably have that backlinked in there somewhere, which is good for me if anyone's ever Googling me.
Hmm.
And I have gained probably close to 20 followers because people are coming, they're looking at my story. So I made sure to like post in my story today. I posted a couple reels today.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good idea.
and I think my first story on like Instagram, if you go and look, has like almost 300 views. So like I know people are coming and just kind of peeking. Whereas with ABC on Hulu, I asked her like, would you be able to send me a link? And she was like, yeah, you'll be able to see it on Hulu. And I'm like, how do you know I even have Hulu? Like, you don't know I have
Yeah.
Hulu. You're not going to provide me with the link. Like, you're using my stuff. I'm like, nah. And we all know that when people have a bad experience or they see something negative, they will go hunt that person down to leave a mean, rude comment.
Oh, for
When they
sure.
see something they like, they don't just go looking. They're like, oh, I like that. And they move on with their life. The people who are triggered and rage baited by it, they're the ones that go looking. And I'm like, you know what? Just the fact that you reach out to me, I have this email that I can screenshot. That's all I need. You're not offering me money.
Yeah.
Like you haven't convinced me that I'm not going to be
Which
shined
is
into the light.
crazy that they wouldn't offer you money. Like, how much money do they make? And they're going to take their storyline is
Mhm.
based off of you.
Mhm.
That's
Make it make
that's just
sense.
nuts to me.
Oh yeah, make it make sense. The fact of the matter is, and this is a TikTok that I've been wanting to make as well, is that we as influencers, we really need to weigh the pros and cons of allowing news companies, like I said, external of an app, to use our stuff for free because it doesn't do us a bit of good. Not a bit. Now, if you're a household name and people recognize you, woohoo. Now, Scary Mommy was a good deal because it shined me in a good
For
light.
sure.
They said, "We agree with what you're saying." They made a point to say, "We agree." And it was in-app exposure. I have literally gotten views to my page, follows because people have looked at my pinned reels. It was a good move for me, whether they paid me for it or not. They don't need to pay me to write an article about it.
Now, did that go viral on Insta too?
When I checked it today, or let's see, when did I check it? Sometime this morning, it had 7,000 likes.
That's good for
And
Insta.
yeah, and that was this morning. So,
You're
I'm
gonna
sure
have to teach me the Insta ways because I am horrible at Instagram. I don't ever post on Instagram. I'll post like a reel a month, maybe.
Yeah, I'll honestly, a lot of what I do, and Snaptick or whatever the heck that app is called, I post a lot of my stuff from there, or I take a link, I put it in Snaptick, I upload it to a reel, and I just post it. Some stuff pops off, some stuff doesn't. If
I do pretty well on reels. I don't know why I don't post more.
Yeah, you should. I mean, honestly, it's just as easy as copy, paste, and post. I mean, you should just do it. But
How do you find the sounds though? Or do you just upload it as your own sound and then it
um,
converts if
I
it's
sometimes I will try to search, and a lot of times I can't find the thing, so I just let it be my own. And sometimes I will so sometimes if I'm taking something from TikTok and posting it to Instagram, Instagram will connect it to the sound. So it
okay.
has some sort of technology that will connect it if it recognizes it. Um, and even I actually pulled one tonight from Instagram, posted it to Instagram, put it through Snaptick, posted it on TikTok, and TikTok kind of connected it. It wasn't perfect, but you could still, I was still up there. And then if you clicked on one of the videos, it took you to all of the videos. So it still kind of did it. It still kind of did it similar to Instagram. Not as perfect as Instagram does it.
Yeah, I definitely need to up my Insta
Yeah, you should. I mean,
presence.
it's been good for me. I there for a while I thought I was going to hit 10K on Instagram before I did on TikTok. But then that last video that I had about the stains really took off, and that
I
was
need
the
to
video.
post more on Facebook too. I have 11,000 on Facebook.
Yeah, you should. My Instagram like connects to my Facebook, but it's my old intentional image page. So I kind of probably need to go revamp that because do you remember my intentional image page?
Yeah.
It has like 400 followers, which it never did before. So there's like a lot of people who have seen my reels that from Insta that got posted to
I wonder what mine is. Well,
Facebook.
how can you see what's connected? Because I always see that it's like, okay, it posted to Facebook. Like, I'll post it to Facebook directly, and then I'll also post it to Instagram, and it'll say it posted to Facebook too. So I don't know how that works.
I'll have to go in and show you because somewhere in there it shows you like what it's connected to. I'll like send you a screenshot, but it's something on the back end.
So am I doing like double the work then?
Oh, are you posting to Insta and Facebook?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, you might be doing double
But
the
they
work.
don't show up under my reels. That's where I'm confused because I feel like I can't access them.
Are you saying they're not showing up on your reels on Instagram?
Facebook.
So you're posting it on Instagram and it's not showing up on Facebook?
Mm-mm.
So, and this is something I was going to talk to you about. And if you don't know, I'm going to have to go digging for the answer because I don't understand. It seems to be because you and I don't have just a personal Instagram, we kind of have the business Instagram. It seems like it connects to a page on Facebook, not a profile.
I don't know if I have a page.
Yeah. So that is apparently the key.
So
If
I need
you
to go searching to see if I have a page.
Yeah, you need to see if you have a page, because that's the only reason why it's working for me, and that's why I probably need to go revamp my Facebook page, because
Yeah.
it completely misrepresents who I am and all of that, like, it's completely different.
I
Um,
wonder if it's my old A-list makeup page.
it might be. Yeah, but somehow you can go into your Instagram and look and see where it's connected, and
You
then
don't
you
know
can
where?
I'll have to send you a screenshot because 'cause I'm not sure, but it's
Okay. We
in
should
your
probably stop
Instagram.
talking about this on the podcast.
Yeah, sorry everyone. Side note. Um,
Side note.
well, it's helpful for them to have some information from us too. I mean,
But yeah,
honestly.
I think that I from my standpoint with the whole addiction thing,
Mhm.
I completely agree with that, and I think, I mean, like you said, like that's what the app is intended to do. It's intended to keep you hooked.
Right.
Um, it's definitely something that I struggle with, and I think that as a creator, especially if you make money on the app,
Mhm.
it's not just an addiction because it's also
Right.
your job.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, even if you're not making that much money, even like as a stay-at-home mom, any income is great.
Yeah.
So, if I'm like, okay, well, I need to get this video up and I need to do this and I need to do that, it's hard because, you're at home with your kids
Mhm.
and they see you on your phone and you're like, well, I'm working.
Yeah.
It's just like having a work from home job.
Right. That's true. That's fair. Yeah.
And that's something that I had to kind of give myself grace on too, is like, I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm still providing income. It might not be as much as my husband's, but
Yeah.
I'm still providing income for our family.
Yeah. Yep.
And this makes me money. And,
Yeah.
I honestly, it's really hard. And I think that we're going to get into a lot more of that next episode when we talk about being a stay at home mom
Yeah.
and everything that comes with that, because I have a lot to say on that. And I know you do too.
Yeah. We've been out here grinding. But yeah,
It's
I think the biggest thing is that what, and you're obviously making way more money than I am, obviously, on the app. Like, I made my first $4 today,
That's
like,
some
woohoo.
that's some that is that's the thing though, is like, don't discount the small wins, because
Yeah.
the small wins lead to bigger wins. I
Yeah.
used to get upset, like I would be like, "Oh my gosh, I've only made, you know, $8, $9, whatever." And then I got on one day and it was like $25 and I was like, oh my gosh." And then the next time I got on and I'm like, "Oh, I still only made $25." Like, it's like every time you want it to be bigger and bigger, but it's like, don't discount the
Yeah.
win, because a win
Yeah.
is a win.
Right. And that's the same thing can be said for building your following.
Mhm.
And you and I talked about this probably on the episode that got deleted, but gone are the days where you're really going to go viral overnight and get like hundreds of thousands of followers overnight. Like,
It happens.
it happens.
The Chick-fil-A girl has a million followers. So
Who's the Chick-fil-A girl?
the girl that's like, no Chick-fil-A sauce?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, so
She
it
has a
is
million
still
followers now.
happening.
So it happens,
You
but
can still be an overnight sensation, but um, I feel like it's probably not happening as much as it was.
even if you have a large following, because take it from me, I
Yeah.
have like 300, I'm down to 374,000 now.
Oh, okay.
I was at like 376. I lose probably 100 followers a day.
So
I am
crazy.
not gaining, even though I'm like seeing people follow me. I'm not gaining because TikTok is literally constantly taking followers away from me.
So odd.
So it's like, when you're talking about, oh, I got 20 new followers, like I don't even have that. I have negative every day.
Yeah, you're losing as much as you're losing more than what you're actually gaining.
Yes.
I have intentionally not gone and looked because I was like, I don't even want to see if I'm losing. I'm just going to
But your
see the
following
number
is
that everybody.
growing, dude. The number goes up.
Well, for me.
Mine is going down every day. But I
But anyways,
take that as, you know what? I'm gonna have a video go mega viral, and then I'm gonna be at 400,000. Like that's how I take that.
Yep.
It's like I'm losing right now, but eventually I'm gonna have another huge viral video.
Yep. You're going to get on the upswing. But I think so much of this, and I made a video, I think I posted it today, just talking about like, and then we can kind of back off of the stay-at-home mom stuff because I don't want to eke into like next week, and but we can still talk about next week. But there is a temptation as a stay-at-home mom to feel the need to do more.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is, being a stay-at-home mom is enough. And so there is just finding a balance and like understanding where you are in your current sphere of life. Like for you, now is not the time to be starting a new business. You can obviously still be doing what you're doing, but if you were like, "Hey, I think I'm going to go," I'd be like, "Ashley,
I think like especially for me, like it's hard. I
yeah.
always have to have a creative outlet. I'm
Mhm.
a creative person. I need something to keep that creativity.
Mhm.
And especially having, a 6-month old right now,
Yeah.
it is like literally killing me that I don't
Mm.
have the time to be creative.
Yeah.
And I think that also, I think, sometimes we feel like we need something else to do, but at the same time, I think a lot of times it's to keep our cup filled
Mm.
because we're not just moms.
Yeah.
So I feel like finding something that makes us happy, that brings us joy, which, to me is TikTok because it's
Mhm.
creating for me
Yeah.
and
I've
it's
told
an
Tim that
outlet.
too.
And it's like, I have to keep my cup full because otherwise I will feel like I'm drowning. And, I told my husband the other day, I was like, I feel like every day is like Groundhog Day.
Mm.
It's the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
And like I need more.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. You're not alone in that feeling, and I think a lot of us are trying to find our way, get our pink whatever it is. And
Get our
that's
pink pass.
why that's why I sent you that video today of it can take 2 years for all of your hormones from having a baby to like get back into the way they're supposed to be, which is so insane to think about that for 2 years your body is still trying to get back to the normal processing of what it was before you got pregnant. And even, I mean, honestly, it's longer than that because as soon as you get pregnant, your hormones are doing all kinds of different things. So it's
Yeah.
almost like 3 years of your body being completely out of whack.
It really
Um,
is. Like if I look back on, when I had Easton and everything that I went through during that time, and then I look back on right before I got pregnant with Braxton, I feel like I was like in like top shape, top form, like
mm,
the best I felt in a long time.
yep, I totally
Like
get that.
look back at videos and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like I just look so good. I look so happy, so full of life." Like
Mm,
it's
yep,
just we go through these stages of life
yep,
and it's so hard to find a balance and
yeah.
what like makes you happy outside of being a mom.
Hmm. Yep. And it's good to have outlets and things like that for sure. So
And I think that would be it would be detrimental to moms to take TikTok away too.
yeah. I mean, not even if people aren't creating, there's so much information out there. There's so much community. There's so much of like, hey, me too. Like I'm also because when you're in the throes of motherhood, like you can really feel alone.
Mhm.
And having those communities and the people who have really built their platforms off like motherhood or creativity in motherhood with like product, different things. If that's your thing, like teaching, crafts, whatever your little nook of life is that you're enjoying, like there's ways to like build on that honestly Pinterest can't fill the void on anymore. Everything on Pinterest is like the same constantly.
Yeah, and I think that also I just totally lost my train of thought.
Ah, I know how that goes. Totally. I forgot
What
what a
was it?
bodysuit was today. I could not think of the word
Bodysuit?
bodysuit. One of my friends wanted to borrow. She was like, "Can I borrow that shirt of yours?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it's not really a shirt. It like snaps at your crotch." And I was like, what are those?" And she was like, "A bodysuit." And I was like, "Yes, that's the word that was just completely gone from my head." So
Oh, it was a good one, and now I can't freaking remember it.
shoot. Well, maybe you can save it for unless it pops back in, because we are kind of, but we're kind of like prepping the grounds for the
For our
next
next
episode
episode,
for
yeah.
sure. So
Um, I hate it when I do that.
I know.
And now it's just like totally gone.
That's okay. But anyways, I think for anybody else that's struggling with feeling like they're addicted to social media or whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with really working through it, figuring out if it's true or not. Like that's a big thing. Like we can feel our feelings, but then we need to really sit down and evaluate like is this feeling based and rooted in truth or not? Because sometimes it is. Like there are people out there who probably need to like set some boundaries and take a break. Like if you're normal, if what you should be accomplishing, I'll use that term loosely, on a day-to-day basis isn't getting done, your children are being neglected,
Yeah.
like you need to evaluate. Like it's okay to really take a step back and be like, maybe I need to pump the brakes, set some boundaries, put a timer on the app so I'm not on there. Like by all means, um, figure out what you need to do. Like I'm kind of going to limit a little bit of my time on the app, specifically on days when it's just Finley and I and Caden's at school. Like I'm trying to like figure out what works for everyone with me still like having this creative outlet and stuff. So I guess that would be kind of like my conclusion with
I
it.
remember what I was gonna say.
Oh, good. Okay. I figured if I kept talking, it would come to you.
um, so a lot of my platform is positivity
Mm,
and kind of trying to like uplift people, and um I have really like gotten more into that side of my platform
mm-hmm.
lately. Because reposted an old viral video,
Did you?
and it gained more traction again, and all of the comments were just about like women being like, I feel ugly, and like I
Mm,
don't feel good about myself, and it's like that to me is the most important part of my content, is if I can
mm,
help somebody to love themselves or to feel better about themselves or to feel good in
yeah.
their body. And I
Yeah.
think that is going to be detrimental if TikTok goes away, because a lot
Yeah.
of women learn, you know, that basically whatever you believe to be true is what's going to be true.
Mhm. Yep.
So people don't understand that what they're saying to themselves is exactly how they're going to feel.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I didn't know that until I got on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-mm.
So being able to find that out and being able to be like, okay, if I start talking positively to myself, if I start thinking positive thoughts, I'm going to like feel beautiful.
Yep.
And I think that that's a huge thing that TikTok teaches, is how to step out of your ego and how to actually think positive thoughts, talk positively to yourself, how much that is going to change your reality.
Yeah.
And the government doesn't want us to know that.
Yeah. Yep.
They want us to stay in fear in our ego
Mm.
and live in this chaotic fucking world. Ooh, sorry.
Yep. S- I agree with all of that because I've been down the road of focusing so much on the negative things in my life and
Mhm.
not speaking enough truth and not looking at the good things that were going on, and
Mhm.
I really spiraled for a while.
Yeah.
I really really spiraled, and the fact of the matter is we sometimes put so much emphasis on a feeling or a thought, and we feel like, oh, I thought this thought. Tim and I've been kind of talking about this recently, is that we think if we have a thought and it's a really bad thought, that that somehow like makes us a really bad person. Or we think if we have a feeling,
Or that it's your intuition.
oh, that too.
That's a topic I could go on and on about, is people saying, "Oh, it's intuition." No, that's anything that causes you anxiety is not your intuition.
mm,
Anything
I
fear-based is not your intuition.
hmm, we'll
And
have to
that's a
dive into
proven
that.
fact. I've actually like done research on it.
Wow. Okay, we'll have to put that down as a topic because I definitely want to learn more about that. But
Yeah.
anyways, when so when we have a thought or a feeling, one of the best things that we can do is ask ourselves a question. Is this thought rooted in truth? Do I really think this? Is this feeling rooted in truth? Do I really genuinely feel this way? Or based on this situation, is this feeling true? You know what I mean? Like, so many people just think a thought and they're like, yep. Or they feel a feeling and they're
Uh-oh.
like, yep. And we're not thinking about,
I was like, "Where did you go?"
oh, did I glitch?
Yeah, you like froze.
You had this look on your face, and I was like, is somebody behind me about to kill me? Like, you scared the crap out of me. And then I saw this shadow right here, and I was like,
Somebody doesn't want this information to get out.
so scary. But anyways, there's nothing wrong with thinking a thought, but we need to evaluate the thought and where it came from. There's nothing wrong with feeling a feeling, but we need to evaluate and figure out where it's coming from. And unfortunately, unless you've had therapy or you are just a very self-actualized internal thinker, ponderer, um, you're probably not asking yourself those questions. And it's not ironic, or maybe it is ironic. It's not lost on Ashley and I that this sort of thing isn't taught in school.
Mhm.
Were you ever taught in school to decide whether a thought was true or not? Were you ever taught in school how to deal with a feeling? No. These are things that you either learn from therapy, from maybe family members helping you work through things,
Or from TikTok.
or from possibly from TikTok or social media. So, and I literally was just having this thought today, and then we probably need to wrap it up. Adults who can't work through their feelings or their thoughts in a healthy way were children who were not taught how to work through their feelings. They're told, shut up, get in the
Yep.
corner, quit crying.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Yes. These are, and it may not have even been that violent and repulsive. It may have just been, we don't talk about our feelings in this house, or you don't get to have an opinion, or you don't get to have a say. And are there times when I think children do just need to do what their parent, yeah, absolutely. But there does come a time where they can explain how they're feeling, and
Mhm.
they need to have a safe place where they can cry and be upset about something, even if to us as mature adults it seems a bit juvenile to be crying about something like that. Well, they're a toddler. They don't have the problems we're dealing with. They haven't lived 30 years around the sun and dealt with something way deeper. You know, we know what to cry about when we're in our 30s. We don't know what to cry about.
Well,
A
and I think it's
toy.
hard because we're navigating all of that as the kids who grew up
Mhm.
with that. So we're fighting what we know
Yep.
versus what is true.
Yeah.
And it's a constant like daily struggle in our own minds to be like, "Okay, okay, I'm getting triggered because this is what's been ingrained in me,
Mhm.
but this is how, like I'm constantly battling."
Yep. Yep. It's so hard because while they're living their childhood, a lot of times we are reliving and rehashing out our own. And
Ain't that the truth?
we have to be so careful to not project, not recreate the same negative environment that we maybe have dealt with. And I would consider myself very blessed. Like, I feel like I lived a very good childhood in spite of some things and obstacles that I've had to overcome with certain family members in my life. Like, I've lived a golden life compared to a lot of people and a lot of children. But that doesn't mean I'm not entitled to having my own
For sure,
experiences,
for
and
sure.
obviously. Um, but anyways, we really have to be diligent, and a part of raising children is raising ourselves as well, because this is all new to us. This is
Mhm,
clearly all new to them,
mhm.
and there's a lot of times where we really have to stop and think and reflect and evaluate. And I tell people this all the time. Parenting can be very humbling if you let it be. But if you're the parent who doesn't say sorry when you should be saying sorry, you're not having a humbling parent experience.
Yeah,
And that's happening, and it's very sad because it's just not helpful.
and I think the important thing is too is, like, if you're trying, if I even if you're messing up, even if you're losing your temper and you're, lashing out sometimes, it is how you handle it.
Mm,
You
yeah.
can't beat yourself up and be like, "I'm this terrible parent," because
Yeah.
honestly, a bad parent will never question
Yep.
if they're a bad parent.
Yep.
They don't care. They're like, "Nope, I know I'm a good parent."
Yep. It's not even a thought in your mind. Yep. If you are questioning what you do, you're asking questions, you're wondering, you're probably on the right track. But you also want to have people in your life who are like, yeah, it's an area you can improve. And hopefully that's a spouse,
Yeah. Well,
you
and
know.
that's I think that definitely is gonna tie into our next episode, but, like, getting your partner on board,
Mhm.
especially, being someone that's gone through therapy, that
Mhm.
knows more than your spouse,
Yeah.
um, having them, like, follow your lead. You can't expect changes overnight
Yeah.
because they have been programmed a certain way too.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
like, Mike and I have a code word.
Mm.
Like, if I notice that he's getting, like, really irritated with Easton, I'm just
Mm.
like, "Yellow, yellow." And the other day he told me, he was like, "You're in the yellow."
Mm. I love that, Ashley. Tim and I need to have that talk. He
Yeah,
could
because
definitely,
and I
because
texted him the other night too, and I was like, "Listen, I am in a horrible mood. I am super annoyed, irritated. I don't know why. I
mm,
couldn't tell you why, but
oh,
everything is upsetting me."
I feel that in my
And I
soul.
was like, "You're going to have to be the positive, uplifting one tonight
Mm,
because I can't do it tonight."
yeah.
And he came home and he brought me a treat.
Oh, Mike.
He brought me caramel apples,
Oh, we love Mike.
and he was the positive one. He was making sure that he kept his temper with Easton, that everything was good, and I ended
Mhm.
up being in a much better mood that night.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like
good.
that's all it takes. Like, you
Yeah.
have to communicate with your partner.
Yep.
Like, "Hey, I'm at like 10% right now. So I'm gonna need you to do that 90 tonight."
Yeah. It's so much give and take. It's so much finding a balance. And I think you touched on something really important, and then we really need to wrap it up. But
Yeah.
you said the code word, because here's the thing. We have to look as parents in a household where two parents are present. We always need to be a team. We cannot be divided.
Mm-mm.
Children are too smart for that. When children see, oh, I can go to mommy about this, daddy about that, which that was how my household was. I could play the field as good as anybody in my house because I knew who to go to for what. When you are a divided nation in your home, your child is going to play you like a fiddle. So it's very important in situations where you see your spouse in the yellow that you don't freak out and call attention to it. So
Yeah.
having that code word that your child has zero clue what it means, like why is mom talking about the color yellow? It is a great way to politely and respectfully let your partner know, hey, reel it in.
Because when your partner's in the yellow, they don't want to be told, hey, cut it out.
Mm-mm.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Oh,
And that's what we all tend to do. It's like, you need to calm it down. And that's just going to make them even more mad.
oh, that'll put him in the red.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's really smart. I'm going to take that home to Tim because that is some good. That's a good nugget right there.
You know where I got it?
Where?
TikTok.
Are you serious? Oh, TikTok.
Yeah,
We
somebody
love you.
posted about it, and I was like, I sent it to Mike. I was like, we should do this.
Mhm. That is
And
so
we
good.
get we
So,
get a
so good.
lot of advice on parenting and marriage and all of that from TikTok.
Yep. So, so good. I love
So
it.
it can be toxic, but
Yep.
it can also be very beneficial.
Yep. It definitely can. It definitely can. Okay. So, follow us, Marla_Branian and Ashley's Essence on Instagram and TikTok. Email us at youramwakeupcall@gmail.com if you have questions, comments, take your concerns somewhere else. Just kidding. But yeah, I think that's it. This episode, I feel very good about.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think we'll be deleting this one.
No, that last episode was, and I felt like I was like vomiting, like it was
Mm,
like word vomit. Just I don't know.
I get it. Totally get it. All right, dears. Thank you for listening.
And we will see you next time.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.